Alrighty, so as per usual, I am not an early morning type of person, so I woke up to my friends blowing up my DMs regarding the, I guess, announcement of the version 11.0 update for Splatoon 3. Now, people have been anticipating that this would be at least an update to look out for, considering what they said in a recent patch in terms of them, like, adding some additional gameplay features, which is something they've never said before. So yeah, and it seems like it'll be something like, you know, actually substantial this time. So we're just gonna take a look-see here. I recently got back into playing Splatoon 3, I guess in anticipation of an update like this, and I just got reminded just how much I absolutely like love the game. I really just needed a break from it. But yeah, let's just get right on into it, man. The Splatoon version 11.0 update is available January 29, 2026, bringing some new mechanics and other changes to freshen things up in the Splatlands. Read on for a rundown of what's new. So we got Flow Aura. Yeah, I did see, you know, a lot of people talking like, yo, we got Aura in Splatoon now. Inklings and Octolings who splat multiple opponents in quick succession will enter a new state called Flow Aura. As this state is active, a burst of ink will paint the ground around the player. Interesting. So we actually do get something for KO streaks now. Flow Aura lasts for about 30 seconds, during which time players will get a boost to run speed, swim speed, ink resistance, and intensify action. But if you make use of those boosts to spot more opponents or assist your teammates in doing so, then you can extend the duration of a Flow Aura even further. Okay. Each successive splat in Flow Aura will also reactivate the ink overflow, painting the ground around your feet once again. So there's even more incentive to splat as many opponents as you can. Okay, this is very interesting. This could be very, very helpful for a lot of different weapons. Oh, there's videos here. Whoopsies, let's take a look-see at those. Oh, alrighty. That's neat. I like that. But yeah, like I was saying, this could be very very helpful for certain weapons. Dynamo. Let's take a look-see at the video here. And my bad, I didn't even have the audio on, so let me fix that real quick, like. Oh, that is a substantial amount of ink paintage on the ground as well. And you know, it's funny because I was talking on stream the other day when I was playing Splatoon 3 again. I was like, you know, it'd be cool if they had like KO streaks, you know. I guess KO prompts, kind of like in Marvel Rivals, because I mean that's been the multiplayer game I've been playing a lot, I guess, instead of Splatoon 3. But you know, I might just be back, man. We got a health bar. This is alright. We've never had anything like this. With 11.0, it's not possible to see an opponent's remaining health when they've been hit. Previously, you could only see how damaged an enemy was by looking closely at how much ink they were covered in. That's so easy to do in the heat of battle. Now, the remaining health will be shown in a bar above their head for a few seconds, provided they've not ducked behind cover or dived into their ink. Though, if the opponent is visible through abilities such as thermal ink or has been hit by marked by things like a point sensor or wave breaker, you'll be able to see it even then. Oh, so point sensor and wave breaker buff. Dang, alrighty. You'll also be able to see the health bars of your teammates if they've taken damage. Keep an eye on these health bars as a great way to support your allies or chase down weakened foes, even if you've teamed up with Inklings and Octolings you're not familiar with. Interesting. Huh. Like, because, like, at least for me, I mean, with how many hours I put into this game, like, determining how low someone was, you know, never the biggest issue for me. Though there were some situations where I would, like, literally, like, direct hit someone, and I feel like they should have gotten knocked out. And I'm like, bro, how in the world did you live that? So, I guess a lot of those type of situations won't be, you know, an issue anymore. So that is very, very nice. Hit detection. All right. From version 11.0, there's some changes to how easy or difficult it is to hit an opponent. The area around an opponent, known as a hitbox, has been made slightly smaller when in swim form. Since the original Splatoon on Wii U, a little leeway was built into the size of the hitbox as players got used to aiming with motion controls. As players have become more adept with this playstyle, this has become less important. Adjustment in version 11.0 makes the hitbox small, similar to that of the hitbox in the kid form, and should stop Inklings and Ocklings in swim form from being hit when they're hiding behind walls or around covers. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that is a, yeah, I mean, I've always known that this was a thing, but, you know, to actually get a proper visual from Nintendo is kind of wild. Like, Nintendo typically never bothers to show stuff like hitboxes, frame data. Like, what are those, man? We don't know what those are. However, it would be no fun if it's too difficult to hit opponents, so some changes have also been made to the hitboxes of players' shots. Shorter range weapons now have much bigger hitboxes, while longer range main weapons have only had their hitboxes slightly increased. It's always more dangerous to get up close and personal with an opponent, but now players with shorter range weapons have an incentive to go and take the fight to players with weapons that would traditionally outrange them. To illustrate here some examples of how hit detection has changed for some weapons. So for Junior, attacks on opponents in swim form are a bit harder to hit, attacks on opponents in kid form are easier to hit. And then same seems to apply for the splatter shot. And then, oh yeah, here we go, E-Leader. Attacks on opponents in swim form are much harder to hit. Much harder to hit. Attacks on opponents in kid form are a little bit easier to hit. I mean, I'm a E-Leader, I wouldn't say aficionado, but you know, I know my way around an E-Leader. It's one of my most played weapons, so even just a slight increase in, like, you know, being able to hit someone even in kid form, that is going to be, some people might not like that. And by some, I mean a lot of people might not like that. Stealth jump. Oh, they're actually doing something to stealth jump now. Stealth jump gear ability allows players to jump to their teammates without the opposing team necessarily seeing where they land. To prevent this from allowing teams to overwhelm opponents too easily, the flight time for super jumps is increased depending on the distance, but only when gear with stealth jump is equipped. So if you're jumping all the way across the stage with stealth jump equipped, it will now take a little longer to get there than before. It's the only flight time that has been increased though. The time taken to actually launch is still the same as before. Alrighty. And of course, we actually do have ourselves some patch notes here. Alright, it just takes us to the same page over here. So yeah, this is the, I guess, the meat and potatoes, basically. You know, we got all the new features that we just talked about. Oh, what's this? There's actually like some little bit of stuff here. Just the size of the circle indicating the explosion radius for Reef Slider for the radius of the area that deals 220 damage instead of the radius ink. Oh, okay, so just a little visual, better visual indicator. Very nice. Oh boy, we already, alright. I'll wait for that. L3 nozzle nose, so the L3s, increases speed of shots by approximately 24% without changing the flight distance. Okay. Is L3 actually gonna feel nice again? Decrease the radius of ink spider at the point of impact by approximately 15%. Ooh. So they're making it like a better fighting weapon than a paint weapon, because L3 had some pretty decent paint, but like the fighting on it, I feel like it was just a little bit you know, wonky. So, you know, if this actually, you know, fixes that, then, you know, I might play me some L3 again. All right, boys, here we go. Oh man, Dynamo, you already know, like, if you have seen any of my Splatoon 3 content on the channel, or maybe if you're new here, I am a die-hard Dynamo ruler main. It was my main weapon back in Splatoon 2 when I first, like, really started playing Splatoon, and I've just been playing the weapon ever since. I absolutely love these babies. So, and I've just been asking over and over for some, like, meaningful buffs. And granted, Dynamo has gotten a lot of good buffs in Splatoon 3, but nothing to the point where like it finally is like, you know, okay, you are done for paying your crimes for you know, what happened in Splatoon 1. So I guess we'll just take a look-see here and see if they actually, you know, they might be right. Increase the inking of spray droplets from horizontal and vertical swings. Okay, paint buff off rip, that's already huge, because Dynamo, for what it is, like, it's supposed to be a massive, like, you know, painting sort of weapon given how slow it is, but it just did not reflect that in actual gameplay. So, you know, they made some like changes here and there to, you know, adjust the painting output, but it still like pales in comparison to like Big Swig Roller and, you know, a lot of other, you know, I guess if you're talking about like heavyweight weapons in its class, then, you know, it kind of got like the short end of the stick, if I'm being honest. Adjusted the damage fall off rate due to distance to make it possible to deal damage of 100 or higher at greater distances than before. Oh, we are so back, dude. We are so back. Are we actually going to get Splatoon 1 Dynamo again? Because I've been saying, if you put Splatoon 1 Dynamo in this game, at least like end of Splatoon 1 like Dynamo in this game, I don't think it would be that crazy power level wise. I genuinely don't think so. And, you know, maybe that's just me being ultra biased, and, you know, maybe it'll be like very toxic for the game and people will hate it. But I won't. Increase the amount of ink consumed by horizontal and vertical swings by approximately 17%. Okay, I see what they're doing here. So they were like, all right, you know, we'll give you stuff that'll actually, you know, make the weapon actually, you know, weapon, but in exchange we're gonna make it so it's even more ink hungry now. I don't know how I feel about that personally, at least like not like 17%, that's like pretty substantial. But you know what, if this overall makes the weapon more consistent, then, you know what, I can work around it. I can definitely work around it for sure, you know. I guess we'll just have to pop up some more ink saver mains and whatnot, which just kind of sucks for like gear building, but, you know, neither here nor there. Either way, I'm just happy to see Dynamo get some actually substantial buffs that addresses, you know, a good amount of its issues. It doesn't exactly, you know, fix like vertical flick, you know, being you know, awful, but maybe the damage fall off buff will actually make it so like the longer, because it has like greater distances, so maybe you can actually kind of snipe with this thing and it'll be a bit more of a threat, but it's so slow, man. I don't know. Blaster reduces time when movement is restricted after firing by approximately what's it, like 2 frames, like 1/30th of a second. Interesting. I don't know the specifications of this off rip. It's something I have to really think of, but, you know, I want to kind of peruse through the rest of these. So, you know, blaster mains, tell me if this is like a, you know, I guess this would be a buff. Or just how movement was just restricted after firing. Yeah, this is a buff for sure. So I guess you could go like in and out of ink or in and out of shooting a bit faster, which is, you know, very, very nice for blaster. All right, H3, increase maximum damage from 44 to 45. I wonder if that like 1 additional point of damage is significant for like, you know, some breaking points when it comes to KOs. Splat Roller, boosting the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering after a horizontal or vertical flick by about 1/30th of a second. See, you know, that's something I wish Dynamo would have had, but I mean, clearly they're going for the more offensive, you know, route when it comes to it. They're also increasing the paint as well, so, you know, maybe the ink consumed nerf will sort of compensates for the, you know, how much they're increasing this type of stuff. But yeah, So the heavy splatling, increase the radius ink by spray droplets, approximately 12%. Increase the radius of ink splatter at the point of impact by approximately 12%. So, okay, inking buff for heavy splatling, alright. I didn't think it was that bad when it came to painting, but you know, hey, you know, I'm not gonna be mad at it, like, as long as it doesn't, like, super improve its, like, combat by any means, and you know. Ooh, Tetra Duali's getting a buff. Increase the speed of shots by approximately 19% without changing the flight distance. Oh, that's gonna be huge for Dark Tetris, because like Dark Tetris is like a 5 or 4 shot kill. So increasing the speed of its shots will make like it dodge rolling around and getting those KOs like much easier. Ooh, that might be fun to play around with. Alright. So we got Splatbrella. Reduce the amount of ink consumed when firing a shot by approximately 9%. Okay, nice. Nice Splatbrella buff right there. Definitely take those. Apparently Splatbrella's been eating good since I've last played the game, so you know, that's nice. So, S-Blast. I know this has been like the bane of the community for a while now, just based off of what I've seen and heard. Decrease the radius of the explosive damage for short flight distance shots by approximately 11%. Ooh, alright, that is notable. Because S-Blast is just kind of like, you know, it just does it all. It's got short range, it's got long range, you know, it can really just, you know, be what you need in any sort of situation when it comes to combat. So, you know, decreasing, like, I guess the big blast is, you know, definitely a nerf that was probably needed. We'll have to see how much like 11% will do to it, but I think it'll maybe tone it down more to like, you know, other sort of like mid-range options in the game. And then only Reslider got a buff when it comes to specials, so yeah. Increase the explosion, or increase the radius of the explosion that deals 220 damage by approximately 20%. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. There are no changes to the radius of the area. It is 70. Slightly raise the center point of the explosion to make it harder for opponents to avoid it using a small height difference. Ugh. Decrease the radius ink by the explosion by approximately 7% and increase the maximum distance of the charge by approximately 19%. Oh, wait. Alright, I see what you're doing here. Ugh, so you can't travel as long, but the explosion is a lot more consistent now to get that like big damage off. Okay, I see. There's a lot of like changes where it's like, all right, we're gonna give you like some like either damage buffs or like consistency, but we're gonna have to take a little something away just to, you know, make sure you don't go too crazy. All right, and then points for special, new Squiffer, 200 to 190. Nice for Zipcaster, ZF, 210 to 200. Oh, that's nice. Try Nouveau, 210 to 200. Sloshing Machine. Oh, Sloshing Machine's finally paid for its sins in Season 1. And I guess Season 2 as well. Back from 220 down to 210. Nice. Splattershot Pro, 180 to 190. Yeah, makes sense. 180 Crab Tank is kind of ridiculous even on Pro. And it did get some paint buffs as well, so there we go. S-Blast 91 specifically. That's the one with Booyah Bomb, by the way. 200 to 210, and then Mini Splatling is 190 to 200. Interesting. So, alright, we got some changes to Splat. Splat 3. No. Change the use weapon display. Use the next one. Do the change weapon. Use to determine the top place. Weapons will be changed in the same way. How they focus on making changes to battle-related systems and multiplayer balance. Alright. Among the balance changes, the updates for LP Nozzles and Dynamo are not simple upgrades. Rather, they are performance changes to help those weapons' unique properties stand out. Alright, so they're finally addressing Dynamo, man. I'm so happy. It's no longer the elephant in the room. Like, for them to outright say, like, oh, no, these are not simple buffs. These are, like, I wouldn't say, like, reworks per se, but, like, you know, hey, we're gonna make these weapons feel like actual weapons now. For the L3, we raised the speed of the shots to make it easier to utilize the weapon's unique property. Its ability to maximize power by successfully hitting opponents with 3 shots. On the other hand, we lowered its inking ability to make it more difficult to fight by lying in wait without proactively approaching opponents or fighting in ways that rely on the rate of turnover for special weapons. Gotcha. For Dynamo Roller. Alright, here we go, yeah. In order to make each of its swings even heavier and more powerful than before, we expanded the area of inking and the area that allows players to defeat opponents with 1 swing, and also increase the amount of ink consumed. Alright, man, like, honestly, like, this stuff right here, this is all we really needed, man. Like, oh, man, still a little sick from last week. My apologies. Ah, man, you know, I might be back, guys. Like, I'm definitely gonna be streaming once this patch drops. So, you know, subscribe to the channel. You know, turn on notifications to stay tuned for that. I'll make an announcement when I go live. And like, man, if Dynamo feels as good as the devs are, like, you know, trying to say that it is, then oh man, you know, I might just put in another like 100+ hours into this game. Who knows? But yeah. Reef Slider, improve its ability to defeat opponents by expanding the area of explosion, capable of defeating opponents in 1 hit. Yeah. Alrighty. Because this update includes changes to the multiplayer system that go beyond simple multiplayer balance changes, we anticipate that it will have a bigger impact on gameplay than the average update. For that reason, the next update will be sooner than normal and will focus on changes to multiplayer balances. Oh, okay. So the next update's gonna be happening even sooner than it usually is, because like their update cycle so far has been like every I don't know, like every like 4 or 5-ish months or so, give or take. So yeah, this is some huge stuff, man, especially for Dynamo. Like, I know my friends are blowing me up about this. I didn't want to take a look at this. I saw Dynamo Roller, I was like, all right, hold on, hold the phone. There's no way they actually address Dynamo. Like, there's no way. That weapon doesn't exist. They don't care about it. Wow, man. All right, so that is gonna be it for the 11.0 like balance changes. Like, what do you guys think? Because like this is some massive stuff coming to the game. Like, I'm very curious on why they've decided to, you know, add a lot of these different mechanics, like you know, the aura mechanic, and you know, adjusting like hitboxes and whatnot. Because, you know, people were thinking like, you know, they're probably working on Splatoon 4 right now, so they're not gonna really do anything much with Splatoon 3. I mean, we did get 3rd kits last summer, but you know, I guess that was kind of like maybe to hold us over. But you know, this is like health bar, like hit detection, like this is very, very big stuff for the game. This is like stuff they've never done before in like any Splatoon game prior. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, honestly, because you know, this is pretty exciting stuff, I will say. I'm definitely gonna be, like I said, playing when the update drops. It says the 29th, but I'm gonna assume that, you know, for us EST boys over here, it's gonna drop tomorrow at like what, maybe 9-10 p.m. So yeah, you know, look forward to that. And you know, I guess if you want to see me, you know, go crazy with Dynamo with the new buffs when it drops, you know, like I said, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man. This is awesome stuff right here. Very, very awesome. I'm so happy to actually, you know, get a good reason to, you know, properly play Splatoon 3 again. So yeah, enough of my rambling. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all next time. Take care, y'all.